Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers Titans Return review for you today. This is Deluxe Class Autobot Twinferno, and it says the name of his headmaster or Titan Master is Daburu. Basically, this guy is kind of an update to the original G1 Monsterbot Double Cross. I kind of have to say that I think the name Twinferno is a little bit more clever, and I kind of like it a little bit better than Double Cross. Plus, for an Autobot, Double Cross doesn't really make sense as a name, in my opinion, because it doesn't really kind of hold with, good guys, Autobots. More of a Decepticon name. But, obviously this is kind of an updated take on the original G1 Monsterbot. So we have Autobot Twinferno here. Pretty cool artwork here on the back. I like that a lot. Standard bubble packaging. Taking a look here, you can see robot mode, and then he has this kind of two-headed dragon alt mode, which is pretty neat. I think they are going to do, at least they're going to do Repugnus, which was another Autobot Monsterbot, as I believe a Titan Master. Maybe wave 4 or 5. I'm not 100% sure when he's coming out. Don't know if we'll get anything for Grotesque. But Grotesque was always my favorite. That's the one I actually had as a kid. So I kind of hope he'll get some kind of representation, but only time will tell. So just taking a look here, try to zoom in so we can read the bio. And it says, Daburu provides an energon jolt that propels a bot's combat system to peak performance. So there you go. He's like steroids for Twinferno here. So there you go. But yeah, then you can see they have the Titan Master, Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader classes represented here on the side. Really excited for Six Shot. I can't wait to finally get a hold of him. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead, we'll get Twinferno out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here's Twinferno out of the packaging. We'll take a quick look at the card that he comes with. Some nice artwork there on the front. Turn them over. Whoops. You can see his attributes, pretty much heaviest on firepower, then brain power, then strength. Speed is his lowest. So pretty cool there. Nice, durable cardboard. Fun to collect those. But taking a closer look at the robot mode here, you can have the wings back, or you can pull them out like that, however, whichever look you prefer. He's got a lot of articulation. Head is, of course, on a ball joint because of the Titan Master. You can move the shoulders up and down. There's also a swivel where the gray meets the red. Then you can see that there is a swivel there in the elbow, but there's also a bicep swivel. So if you want him to kind of have the head pointing forward, or like a traditional kind of uppercut move or something like that, you can do that. And then, of course, there is a joint here where the head can move up and down, as well as the mouth of the dragon can open and close. Nothing in the torso. This flap can lift up, so if you want to have him kick forward, you can. But you can see pretty standard hip joint there. Out to the side, front and back, thighs swivel, a little bit more than 90 degrees with the knee. The ankle can move from side to side, but that's from the transformation. It can actually spin all the way around. But again, that's for transformation. But yeah, I like the look of them. I like the design. The color scheme looks nice, like the Autobot symbol here. I feel like they did a good job of not making them too gray. They really broke up the colors. I think he looks great. Comes with these two gun accessories, which you can push together. And then he's got two pegs here, which you can peg a Titan Master into. I'll take a look at in a minute. Now I will give you some caution here. These two big like peg holes, or what I thought were peg holes, I thought you were supposed to be able to peg the weapons into there, and it kind of looks like you are. And I got one to go in, but I kind of got a stress mark there. So I'm not going to do it again. So I don't think they're meant to do that. It really looks like they are, and they're almost the same size. And like I said, you could get it to work, but I think you're going to stress the plastic a little bit, because I definitely have a little stress mark right there. It doesn't look like it's going to break or anything, but, just a word of caution. What they do is have these two slits up here, and you can see that there's a kind of rectangular peg on the bottom of the gun. So they have it so that these can peg in to the shoulders, and he can wield them that way. Whoops, I did that wrong. So there you go. He can have two. Now they're a little loose, as you can see, but not terribly. But you can have two shoulder cannons there, which I like that look. I think that looks pretty neat. You do have to tuck the wings back to do that, because if you push them forward, it'll just pop it off. But I still think it's a cool look. Like I said, if you want to try to jam the pegs in these spots, you can try. And I got one to work, but it definitely gave me a little stress mark, so I'm not going to do it again. The head, you can see, it's jiggling a little bit, and I don't know if that's just because I don't think it's actually the connection. I think it's the ball joint on the head of my Titan Master is just not the super tightest, but it's not a big deal. But transforming him, well, first of all, we'll take a quick look at the actual face sculpt here. I like it a lot. It's fairly simplistic, mostly white, with just some blue visor eyes, but I think it's very cool. But the coolest part of this Titan Master actually has to do with the Titan Master itself. And if you can get a close look at the head, you can see it's a lion face with an eye patch. And anyone who is a fan of the Japanese Headmaster series will remember, I think it's the 5th episode, they actually go to a planet that is populated with battle beasts. Kind of a cross-product promotion. And the leader of the Cybertron battle beasts was White Leo. He was a white lion, and he was the leader of the kind of good faction of battle beasts. And this is an homage to that, because that is the first, and I think the only time, the monster bots appear in the Headmaster series. They go to the planet of the battle beasts, and the Cybertrons or Autobots bring them along. And I think if they will fight one of the Gestalt teams, maybe the Terracons, I can't remember. But I think that's really neat. So because this guy appeared in that episode of Headmasters, they made his Headmaster White Leo from that episode. So an homage from a Japanese-only series in an American toy line is pretty awesome. I think that's really neat that they did that. I'll show off real quick him hanging out in this thing. Like I said, there's these 2 pegs here, so you can just peg his feet in, and then he just kind of sits just like that. And that looks pretty good. So I like this Titan Master a lot. You can even see he's got molded paws into his feet. So that, in my opinion, is really awesome. And then very simply, just transform and pop him back on. Of course, as soon as I say simply pop him back on, there we go. He proves me wrong. But yeah, I really like the robot mode. I like the fact that you could fold the wings straight back or have them out to the side. He doesn't really have a whole lot of kibble. I mean, you have a little bit down here on the heels. Some little, like, dragon foot kibbling. Yes, that's a word. Kibble. And then you have a little bit of the dragon claws here on the side. But overall, I really like this robot mode. I think it's neat. I like the head sculpt. I love the Titan Master. And I think these are cool. I like having them as shoulder-mounted cannons. So, very, very cool. We'll go ahead and we'll get into the transformation here. So I've removed the Titan Master and put him and the guns off to the side. So we'll start out by pretty much, you can kind of fold the wings back just for now to get them out of the way. And you can bring the arms straight down, and you're going to unhinge, or I should say unpeg, not unhinge. And you're going to bring these around. And they're a little tight how they peg in, and you kind of have to be careful because the dragon claws come with it. So make sure that they're not... The first time I did it, I was holding this and not realizing, and I just popped it off the ball joint. Not a problem because you can pop it right back on, but just be careful of that. So you're going to bring these around, and you can see here that there's 2 large flat peg holes here, and then there's these 2 large flat pegs up here. So this whole section is now going to rotate on this black hinge right there. And then this whole thing's just going to rotate up. And I was kind of having trouble getting them in, but I figured out that if you press on this piece here and use that to kind of force them down, and make sure that the dragon heads aren't in each other's way, because that also makes it harder. You can get them to peg in, and you'll see that they'll peg in flush really nicely once it's all done. Then all you have to do is kind of straighten the arms here. Oops. Twirl them around a little bit. So there we go. Let me move this up a little bit. And then you can just kind of position the heads how you like. They're going to be your 2 dragon heads. Get the claws working for you. So if you really wanted at this point, you could just have him be crazy, giant, standing dragon. No reason not to. But what you're going to do is flip up these pieces here on the sides of the legs just to kind of get them out of the way. And then you're going to flip this piece here out to the side like that. And then you can sandwich these together. And then you're just going to rotate them 180 degrees at the knee. Actually, a little bit past 180 degrees. And then you can sandwich these two pieces down here to form the tail. Now, the way this goes, it's kind of weird. It doesn't really, like, fit flush. You kind of just fold them in at this point. And it doesn't really peg. It just kind of sits in here, and you kind of just have to play with the angle until you get it right. But, like, it doesn't... See what I mean as far as this section down here? It doesn't really peg in super tightly. It just kind of forms a little box around that. And it's at a weird angle. And the tail doesn't love to peg together super tight. But that's kind of where you're at. And then you're just going to rotate this hind leg of the dragon down. Just like this. And then you can kind of get him to balance however you like. If you want the tail to be up, you can do that. If you want to rotate the legs down a little bit so that the tail kind of forms like a tripod, you can certainly do that as well. I kind of like that look. And at this point, you can rotate these however you want. You can rotate this joint here at the knee, and then also you can rotate the foot a little bit to kind of just get him to pose however you like. If you like him a little bit more squat, if you want him to be a lot more, you know, have the legs stretched all the way out, it's completely your preference. So I like to have him a little bit more squat just because I feel like he already has a decent amount of height. And then these are on ball joints as well. So you can move the hands around. And then again, you can have the wings straight back if you want. You can put the wings out to the side if you like. All personal preference. And there you go. You have your dragon mode. Two-headed dragon. Now at this point, you can take your Titan Master and make him like he's sitting. And open up this large, long panel here. And then you can pop him inside. Just like that. And close that up. And that's the cockpit he can ride inside. I really wish these kind of... And sometimes... Maybe if I can... I feel like I'm probably not transforming it 100% correctly. Actually, is that supposed to tab... See if I move this. Can I move this up a little bit more? I don't know. The way, if you look at these, and I'll bring this back around. Oh, I have to get the leg out of the way. Move the wing. So you can see here, there's like 3 little holes. And it really seems like this tab here is supposed to peg into one of them. But the way it lines up, it doesn't really. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's a very strange bit of transformation, and the legs down here don't peg together super well. It's not a huge problem. I mean, he'll stand. It's just kind of a weird connection. I don't know. I wish it really pegged in a lot more snugly. And again, I could be doing something wrong. The directions are not super clear. They kind of just say, fold it over, and that's all they tell you. So, again... I still like the look of the dragon mode. I think it looks good. You can also take the combined weapon at this point, and you see these 2 pegs here on the back. The same pegs on the gun that you put into the shoulders, you can put on there. And then you can have the gun on his back. I like the look of that a lot. Again, you could peg the Titan Master in there if you had a second one. So you could have one riding in here and one on his back. So I like the look of that a lot. And again, you still have all those points of articulation that I mentioned before. You can open the mouths, move the neck in a couple places. So I like that a lot. I think it's a very cool dragon mode. The only thing I have to complain about is the kind of weird connection here for the feet. I really like this guy a lot. I did forget to mention that if you wanted to leave the guns pegged on his back in robot mode, you could certainly do that as well. Or you can take them off. But yeah, I think the robot mode is really neat. I love the Titan Master, especially the White Leo reference, or homage, I should say, to the robot mode of the Titan Master is absolutely fantastic. I think they did a great job designing the robot mode. The color scheme's great. The paint's nice. The accessories are a lot of fun. They have a lot of playability. You can do the shoulder-mounted cannons, a back-mounted cannon. You could have it pegged together and have a Titan Master ride in there. Just don't try to peg them into these holes, even though they look like they really should be. I feel like there's really no reason they couldn't have shaved these down just a little bit to make them fit in there, because otherwise I don't really know what they're for. This robot doesn't use them for anything in this mode. I mean, other robots I'm sure could wield them if you have other figures from this line. I really feel like they're supposed to be able to fit in there, but they're just a little too big, so I don't know if that was a mistake or what, but it's not a big deal. You can mount him on the shoulders, you can mount him on his back. I think that's perfectly fine. Plus, you can have it together like this for the Titan Master to ride in, so plenty of functionality with that. I really love the Titan Master itself. I love the robot mode. The Dragon mode is fun, but it's not perfect. I really like it, except for the kind of weird connection around the hips of the dragon, where the tail doesn't stick together very well. So, is it a huge problem? No, you can definitely get it together and have it in a pose, and it's not a problem. But for a kid playing with it, it's going to probably pop out a lot. But kids probably don't care. They're just having fun with their toys. For collectors, I think once you get it in a pose, it'll definitely keep that pose. It's not like it's going to fall out and fall over. At least mine hasn't had any problems like that. So, I recommend this guy. I definitely think he's fun. I think the robot mode is the better of the two modes, but I like them all the way around. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Twinferno from the Transformers Titans Return line, and thank you guys for watching.